Welcome to Washington East to West Sports. This is episode 123. I am Matt Beatty, joined alongside, as usual, by Sean Beatty and Kevin Ardall. If you want to get involved with the show, go ahead and tweet at us. I'm at Beatty Square Matt. Sean is at Nasty Billy 22, and Kevin is at C2Believe. That's SEA2Believe on X. If you're on Blue Sky, I'm Master B. BSKY dot something dot something. Sean is Nasty Billy. I don't know what it is.
22.
Nasty Billy
Nasty Billy
22.
22.
Okay. That's Billy 22. And Kevin, you got one?
Emerald Bowler. That's what it is.
Emerald Bowler on Blue Sky if you have made the transition away from whatever Twitter has become. Subscribe to us on YouTube. Tell us what you think of the topics we talked about in the comments below. We're going to get into some Mariners and some Seahawks, but first, did anyone besides myself watch the Seattle Sounders on Saturday defeat the LAFC 2-1? Which, by the way, Sean, I'm going to throw it to you in a second, but why? Well, we can talk about this. The first round is three games, and it's one game, one game, one game. I don't
I don't know.
understand that. It's
I don't know.
ridiculous. But Sean, did you
It,
watch it?
I did. Well, I didn't watch that game because I was driving. I was actually in Idaho that night.
Oh,
So we were at a Christmas thing. So seeing Santa. So I did not get to see it, but I did see the highlights and I saw like about 30 minutes of the game.
yeah. I mean, Jordan Morris had the game winner in the second extra time, and the Sounders tied the game. They were up. LA was up 1-0, and own goal was able to give them the tie on a pretty bad own goal actually. So the LA Galaxy are in the Western Conference Finals as well. So they play on Saturday at 7 p.m. And if you happen to have Apple TV, please check out the Seattle Sounders and support them as they're in the Western Conference Finals. But gentlemen, let us talk about some Seattle Mariners news that has happened in this very short offseason so far. First of all, the Mariners, we haven't talked about this yet, actually. So the Mariners declined Jorge Polanco's option. And I'm going to throw it to Kevin first. What did you think of this move?
I mean, it was surprising when it happened, just because like even though he had some hot streaks, kind of like just back and forth throughout the year, but like he's a serviceable, like what he can be. And I think just injuries plus our field being a hot pile of crap kind of played a factor into him not being. I mean, as we've already talked about the Mariner curves with the, our field being terrible and people not wanting to play here. But then shortly after us announcing that we're in on the, sweepstakes of that dude out of Japan, I forgot his name, but he's a second baseman. Uh, Made a little bit more sense as to why they dropped Jorge. I mean, if we pick that kid up from Japan, I like it because we only have Polanco for another year essentially. Um, but if we don't pick it up, if we don't pick that kid up, then it's kind of like, what are we doing? So it is yet to be seen at this time. So
Sean, what'd you think?
I, I was okay playing him for one more year just because who's playing second? Like I know, hopefully,
What is the name of this Japanese player, by the way? Do we know? Do we have
oh man, off the top of my head, you're putting me on the spot. We need to have JT on here. He's the master of knowing who these people are. But it's just more of like a right now, like speaking right now, who is your second baseman? Like it's just a general question. Who's your second baseman? Like Dylan Moore
Dylan
every
Moore?
day.
Yeah.
That's a terrible idea. Like, I mean, I'm just and I know you're gonna sign somebody, but now you're forcing yourself to sign or trade from somebody. Like if you had just picked up Polanco's option, or you could wait a little, do your things, but like you had a little bit more time to like iron out this thing, but you're basically like, okay, this is what it's gonna be. And I get also this side of it where you're like, look, we've got to make a move, like Polanco's there. But I thought the solution was we talked about in the offseason was Cole Young. He's coming up anyways. So like let's say you sign this Japanese kid, what happens to Cole Young then? And I get like you don't wait, you just try to get the best players in the field. I get that, but like at a certain point, like what do you do with them? Like where does he go? Like does he switch to third? Because I don't think he can play third. So then you force to trade him, but now you're forced to trade him. I don't
oh,
I
it's
thought a year Go.
Roki Sasaki.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Okay.
I thought half a year of Polanco would have been fine, and with Cole Young coming up, but I get it. I guess I totally see him being cut, but they need to get him or solidify this some other way or tell like, hey, Cole Young has a real shot at doing this because in a year where a lot of Mariners fans are frustrated and you don't sign him or somebody else, you're going to tell the Mariners like, hey, wait till Cole Young's ready at the half season and you're going to start the season with Dylan Moore at second base. That's not a good, trust me, bro, process. Like I'm just like, it makes me a little nervous. It makes me a little nervous for that front office. And like, I get you wanted to save money, ownership, but like, you still have to feel the second baseman. And Dylan Moore is a nice, great bench player, but he's not an everyday starting second baseman. This is what it is. Especially at like what? How old is he? 32, 33? Might even be 34. I don't know. But anyways, like yeah, I'm just a little worried now that there's like no like backup plan to this. He's 32.
Uh, yeah, I don't really have a differing opinion. I'm just curious who's going to play second base.
I don't know.
If Cole Young is the plan, like, I mean, you guys heard me what a few weeks or a month ago or 2 months ago, like bring the kids up. So I'm fine with bringing up Cole Young. Let's see what he's got. Like that is totally fine with me. So if we want to bring up the kids and see what they got now, I'm totally fine with that. But yeah, I'm not really sure what the plan is at this point. So I guess we'll see. But yeah, it's kind of interesting to see that there wasn't
You can't. What do you do other than that? Like, you know what I
yeah,
mean? Like,
yeah, I
what do you do?
guess yeah. So I guess we'll see what Jerry and the front office has in store. But right now the plan is not really that clear. So maybe they've got a plan. I'm sure they've got a plan, but hopefully it actually pans out the way they think. So we'll see what happens. But I wanted to bring up another piece of news before we get into a couple other things. The Mariners acquired infielder Austin Shenton from the Rays for cash. This was a player that the Mariners had traded away um, uh, earlier in the season to the Rays, but then they got him back. Does this mean anything to you guys, Sean?
I've liked Austin Shenton. I think we talked about that for a while now. I mean, is this anything? It seems like a perfect like Mariners type move. They do technically need a third baseman. He was a Mariner. He fits kind of the profile of a Mariner.
Mm.
And they get him back for, I mean, like literally
Cash.
nothing. So yeah, I don't hate it, but my issue is like if they plan on playing him every day at third base, then I kind of hate it. You know what I mean? Like I'm like, if this is the best we're gonna do, I might need to see a little more. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? Like
Well, let
I'm
me let
like,
me ask you, does it matter how much cash you trade for? Do you feel kind of
no,
no? Okay, it's just
no, it's ownership.
cash.
I don't
Here's
care
a
about
bag.
cash. Like who cares? Like players, yeah, but no, no cash, absolutely not. I
Probably
do not.
Venmo or something, right? Like they don't
Yeah, I
just
do not
yeah.
care how much cash it's for, unless it's like $50 million and prevents us from signing somebody. But I mean, you shouldn't be
That one
getting.
you have to get a giant check for. You'd have to get a
Uh,
giant check if you
I
trade
was
a
gonna
player for
say if
$50 million
you're
dollars.
Michael Scott style, if you're giving getting Austin Shenton for $50 million, you better Michael Scott this because you're stupid as Michael Scott. So I don't,
Have Austin come
like
in. This is the amount of cash we traded for Austin Shenton.
yeah,
Enjoy it.
I wouldn't get that. But yeah, other than some astronomical number, like no, I don't care how much money it's for.
Kevin, what do you think of this move?
Not I mean, he could be like a guy that, yeah, I mean, if he's on the team and he's kind of like the Dylan Moore, but your backup third baseman, sure. But then it also takes a roster spot. Like, yeah, so far, I just don't really think it means a whole lot, to be honest. I wouldn't be surprised if he's in Tacoma. Like, yeah. Um, yeah, yeah, don't pay him $50 million. Don't do it.
And then in some minor league updates, you guys were sharing some messages, Sean. What's the deal in the fall league or whatever?
Oh, they announced Baseball America just announced their like best players of the fall league, and it says quote the best prospects in the league by far were Colt Emerson and Andrew Painter, Phillies and Mariners players. So that was like they're just like and these are kind of like the showcase of ex MLB players trying to come back, or like a lot of like prospects, and the fact that one of Mariners prospects was um, the best says a lot. And also I shared another article from Baseball America that there's a Mariners traded for a guy who's coming off multiple high A 5+ ERA seasons, and baseball's talking about how the Mariners think that they can make him reach the majors by this year, and the industry tends to believe him that the Mariners can do it. Oh, and they're also projected to sign 2 of the top 12 international prospects as well. So, I mean, the offseason, I'm liking the smaller stuff and churning the farm system and everything like that, but we still need a second baseman. we still need a second baseman.
And in non-season related news for next year, outfielder Ichiro Suzuki and Felix Hernandez are now eligible on the next Hall of Fame ballot. I mean, let's be real, guys. Is Ichiro first ballot? I feel like that's probably a
Yeah.
no-brainer.
The questions is he 100%? Now he should. It's all the stupid can't 100% this guy bullshit that'll happen. But yeah, he should be unanimous. I don't see how you cannot have
What
Ichiro be
about
unanimous.
Felix? Is Felix a Hall of Famer?
No,
No?
gut says no.
Kevin? You agree?
First ballot, no. Do I think he makes it?
I Let's put it this way:
Yeah,
what
probably
Kevin thinks.
not.
I think he doesn't, but I think there should be a serious case for him because it's not just the best players; it's players who changed the game, did all these things, and Felix did change the game. Because remember, before Felix, it was all about pitchers wins and all that stuff, and Felix really led the charge of like, look, wins don't matter a whole lot for pitchers. It's actually these other stats, and he had to fight for years to get that Cy Young when he was the best pitcher in the American League for like 4 years, and he had to finally get the respect from like, look, I'm not hitting for my team. I can't prevent that, but I'm doing the best at what I can do. And that baseball has changed since then. Pitchers' wins are not valuable. They've shown that they're not valuable. We've all gone to the quality starts. You see all those stats. Fantasy all goes with quality starts, all that thing, and it's because of Felix. And I think that maybe that is something like he did change how we look at starting pitchers and how they're graded. If you want to give him a boost for that, that maybe is the boost that gets him in. But I think just on merit alone, I don't think he had quite as the resume, but you could say he changed the game because he arguably did, or how the game is viewed.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with you guys on this one then. I don't think he'll make it in. But
It's close. It's
yeah.
close. It's gonna be close. You're gonna get year 8 or so. Those last couple years, it'll be real close. I think it'll be real close.
Retire his number somewhere in the
He's
T-Mobile.
a Mariner Hall of Famer, absolutely. I
Oh
don't
And
doubt
yeah,
it.
then
Mariners, yes.
maybe get name a restaurant after him or something in the
They
right
should
field.
have a section that's always just King's Court, like just a
Yeah.
section, like a
Yeah.
little,
There you
not
go.
that whole section that was for Felix, but like that one of the how the 100 levels split into like 3 sections, like the middle section of that row,
There you
like
go.
it's just you paint the seats or do something, and that is King's Court forever.
I
You
love
don't
it.
have to get the you
I
don't have to
love
give
it.
the shirts away, but it's just King's Court. Like that's the section that it is.
Yeah, I like that. I think that's reasonable.
Do that
You put him in the Hall of Fame and then you give him a little bit more. He's not Griffey with the
because
statue, but he deserves something.
he stayed. He chose to stay and cost himself the playoffs. He chose to stay. Give him a King's Court in the stadium. He could have left. He could have gone to the Yankees. Could have gone anywhere. Anyone would have signed him. Yankees would have given him a street in New York to come and prime Felix Hernandez, and he chose to stay in Seattle. You give him a goddamn section in that stadium.
I don't know. You get a
Mhm.
street in New York. I don't know. Maybe you go to New York. I don't know. It sounds pretty good.
He would have.
But
I mean, come on. At that time, prime Felix in New York, they would have like given him a parade every 5 days. We give him a parade here in Seattle. No one cared, but like, yeah, New York. Oh my gosh, they would have done with Felix.
all right, and the Mariners today announced their 2025 coaching staff. Let me share my screen here because I got the email in my inbox this morning. Any surprises here with the Mariners coaching staff, Kevin?
Surprises no. But stuff I'm happy about, yeah. Like I'm glad to see Egger on the whole year. I think that's going to be a big thing. A lot of players really vibe well with Edgar. He gets along with a lot of players, and we saw that like once Edgar hopped on after Service was fired and Dan Wilson was brought in, we saw those bats like heat up. And I mean, you're bringing in one of the best I can't, I apologize. Bringing in the best DH of all time to uh essentially be your hitting strategy coach. I mean, technically he's the hitting coach, but probably just surrender the title because that's Edgar's style. I mean, no offense to Kevin Seitzer, but I mean, people are just going to go to Edgar. They're not going to go to Kevin Seitzer for. I mean, Kevin Seitzer will be out there doing stuff, but like, um, let's see. Danny Farquhar. I can't remember if he was with us last year or not.
It was not.
That's kind of, former Mariner as
Lord
well.
Farquhar
That is not what he's most famous for. Do you know what he's most famous for?
Hmm.
being in Shrek.
No,
Oh,
he blew the whistle, or he's the reason that def Trashgate happened.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah,
He's
yeah,
the
yeah.
video that they showed on YouTube that the guy found it out, and Danny Farquhar's one pointing it out, and then the guy watches the YouTube video and breaks it down, and that's how the heat got on him. Yeah, Danny. Yeah, Danny Farquhar.
Um, yeah, it was interesting. Like, interesting to see Manny Acta, and then Eric Young Jr. Was another name I was familiar with. I was kind of like, oh shit. Um, Perry Hill still being there because Perry Hill's just made the defense a lot better. Like, um, other than that, not a whole lot that I really kind of saw. I was just like I said, I was very happy to see Egger back, and I think you're not going to see that slump. I mean, depending on who we sign, though, too, because I mean, we technically don't have a second and third baseman right now, but um, yeah, I think you're going to see better consistency out of people like Julio and stuff like that. So,
Sean, any surprises on this coaching staff?
No, I don't care too much. Like, I mean, it's all upstairs anyways. And I mean, yeah, I mean, I guess as long as you got Perry Hill, obviously his work as a defense in the infield is, I mean, you can't really argue it.
yeah,
I like Eric Young. I liked Eric Young as a player, junior.
yeah.
So that's cool that he's there. And I did like Danny as well. So love Manny Acta at third base. I mean, like and these are just personality wise. Like I love some of these guys. Coaching, I mean, like we talked about it, like a lot of like strategies from upstairs, anyways. And these guys have input, but it's from upstairs, anyways. It's nice, but cool. There you go.
Well, Dan the Man back at the helm for next year. If you have any thoughts on the Mariners declining Polanco's option or the coaching staff or Ichiro being a Florida Ballot Hall of Famer, go ahead and tweet us. I am Basecore Matt. Sean is the Nasty Billy 22. Kevin is C2Believe, SEA2Believe on X. Blue Sky, Master B, Nasty Billy 22, and Emerald Bowler on Blue Sky if you want to follow us on there as well. Subscribe. Smash that subscribe button. Just like slam it. We've got a little bit of time before our first break, but let's talk about the Seattle Seahawks. They have had 3 games since we were last on the podcast. A 26-20 loss in overtime to the Los Angeles Rams. A 20 well, bye week. A 20-17 win against the 49ers in Santa Clara, and then this past Sunday a 16-6 win against Arizona at home. Sean, what did you think of the Seahawks in the month we've been gone?
Ended strong. I guess I mean, you can't be sad about beating the 49ers and Cardinals. I actually kind of was like a little nervous because the Seahawks didn't have power for a couple days there, and I was like, is this, I felt good going in the Arizona game, and I was just like, it's just like, I mean, not having power at your facilities does affect things for a couple days, and I'm like, watching film, I mean, how is this gonna go? But they played pretty well. Well, talking to specifics, but like they won the game pretty convincingly, and I wasn't worried about it. So, um, did we? I can't remember. Did we talk after the Bills game? We did, right? We
We
just
did.
didn't
That
do.
was the last one we talked about.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Rams. We lost by 6 to the Rams. Again, Matthew Stafford just beats us. It doesn't matter. So, healthy Matthew Stafford's never gonna lose to the Seahawks. That's just what it is. Sean McVay and Matthew Stafford just can't lose to us, and we only beat the Rams a couple years ago because he didn't play. So yeah, beating the 49ers while I don't care if they're on their way down, you still had to take care of business. You did it, and you beat the Cardinals. So all you kind of have to do is beat the Jets and the Cardinals again, and you're looking pretty nice. So losing a one-score game to the Rams, it sucks, but it's not I'm not super heartbroken about it because you got these two wins that I'll ask you guys a question before we send it over. What did you think their record was going to be after 11 games coming into the season?
Probably about this 6-5. I figured they'd bounce back and forth between 500 and
Kevin,
a little
what do
above, a
you
little
think?
below.
Are you saying before the season started
Before the
or
season, what did you think that before the season their record would
oh
be at this point?
probably a little sub 500,
You thought they'd lose? Like, who would they have
like five and
lost?
six,
You
roughly.
thought, okay, 5-6. I
Mhm.
would say most people thought 6-5, or 5 or 6, 5-6. But like the one loss, we say the Giants is probably the one we should have
Right.
probably won. But going the season healthy, we probably lose to the Dolphins. So those that cancel each other out. And then Kevin's probably right. We're probably 5-6 because going in the season, people would probably say we lose to the 49ers.
Yep.
We're 6-5, and again, like the internet's all like coming a little better because we win 2 games in a row, and it feels like every time we do this or whatever, it's just like, oh, what's happening? We're 6-5, guys. Like, what are we so worried about? This is pretty good. I would have taken 6-5 coming the season. It's it's just, and we play the Jets and the Cardinals. You win both those games, you should win. You're 8-5, and then now the rest of the season is gonna be what it's gonna be. But you just gotta beat the Jets. So just going to sweat by the New York teams. I count the Bills in that too because they're technically New York. So they're
True.
technically the only team that plays in New York, by the way. But anyways, yeah.
Wow, way to
Everyone's
get
playing.
technical. Way to
They
get
play in Jersey.
technical.
They play in Jersey. I'm just
That's
saying.
true.
So,
That's true.
but yeah,
Kevin, what'd you think?
Um, yeah, it's I the Rams game we definitely it was eligible to win. It was more of just the repeating thing of just shooting ourselves in the foot with dumb stuff, especially when Nakua or whatever his name is got booted out and like
yeah.
we
Forgot
just
about. Yeah, you're right. We probably should have put it on a
um
little bit more.
because I
Yeah,
think we had what two turnovers that game that
A pick six in the red zone. Yeah, there was three
yeah.
picks by
Yeah.
Gino.
Now, one of them was supposed to be a hold, the one that was on the tight end Barner.
yeah.
Barner got held and it was not called.
Because that
That
where the play was going. It was designed for that, and like
yeah,
he's literally held.
that's a touchdown and that's probably a win right there. So just bad little bit. I mean, it's hard to catch that stuff too in bang bang situations, but
But
the
again,
refs,
he just doesn't have to catch it. You just don't let it be picked, basically, and then we win
yeah,
the
that
game.
too.
Like
Yeah.
don't be a pick, and it just like even hit you in the chest and fall down, then we win the game. Like yeah,
Gino wasn't making the best decisions, to be honest. The defense didn't really help out a whole lot. Bye week, and then coming back. Honestly, getting rid of Baker and Dodson looked like kind of helped out with this, and then Ernest Jones getting more play time. What are we at clockwise before I keep going into
We got
this?
about 4:15, so you got about
Okay.
3 minutes.
and
Okay.
getting rid of Connor Williams too actually helped out a
And
little bit.
yes, and Connor Williams resigning at center. Um, definitely, I think it, not to say that I think there are more John Schneider guys that were kind of brought in based off what John Schneider previously saw for Pete Carroll style defense, and then Mike McDonald's like, no, they don't fit my what I want. And essentially, people have, I mean, Ernest Jones has adapted to this defense and played very well. Um, and then Tyreek Knight for a rookie has been playing good at least the last two games. There could be better things, but I mean, for a rookie, I'll take it.
A
Um,
fourth round rookie.
yeah, that too.
Yeah,
Um, and then having Abe Lucas back definitely helped. Like now, Bosa being injured also helped. Let's not lie about that. Bosa getting in, starting injured and then getting off the field helped out a lot. Even though he's a piece of crap, he's a very good football player. Um, so definitely a lot more defenses have been playing a lot more like after the 49ers game because like literally everybody online was acting like we won the Super Bowl and I was like calm down. I'm like this was one game. I'm like let's then we did it against the Cardinals which I was like I'm getting more positive but like if I see this for another game or two like if I see it against the Jets and against the Cardinals again then I'll start to believe but this team is just so inconsistent at times that it's just hard to get hyped on it but I am seeing good things out of it. The secondary is looking really well. We're stopping the run a little bit more, like holding James Conner to literally nothing is very impressive, especially when they were like one of the top three rushing attacks in the league, and we just made them look stupid. And like forced them to go into the air. Which I mean they're not bad in the air too. You got Marvin Jones Jr. and Wilson who are good, and their tight end McBride has shown some flashes too. But
He's good. He's just straight up good now. Like
yeah,
honestly, he is. Like there's enough evidence that he's a
yeah,
good player.
yeah. So it's just we got a little shock from Gino making a very terrible decision, which he should have just ran it for the first down, but then just decides on the run in the rain to throw it into double coverage, and then oh lo and behold, it gets picked because he's a moron. That's the only thing I want to see more. Like Gino needs to step up and run and just take it for 5 yards. This whole Russell Wilson thing helps, and then people are like, "Oh, but then he got its DK Metcalf on the next one." I'm like, "Yeah, but he probably doesn't need to do that if he just runs for the first down, and then we probably score a touchdown on that drive, and the game's just over." Instead of us just trying to get some miracle points to make it to where it's out of reach for them in the last bit to kick that field goal, to make Jason Myers kick a 50-yarder in the rain. Like, just don't do dumb decisions like that. Like you're on the run in the rain and you're throwing in double coverage when you literally have the first down to run to go get it when you just need to score. But you got yeah, Gino's decision making needs to get a little bit better, especially now that you have yeah. All right, and we're going to continue this after a commercial break from our wonderful sponsors.
There you go. Kevin's got the idea. We'll be right back after this
Join us
word.
next.
There you go. Sponsors, advertisers, whatever you want to do. But we'll be right back. One. Welcome back. Thank you so much to our sponsors and our advertisers. If you want to be sponsored or advertise on the show, go ahead and comment on this video below and let me know, that you want to advertise because we've just got such a long line, so I'll just have to get to it. But Kevin, let's get back. Wait,
Sure.
no. Yeah, Kevin, let's get
Yep.
back to you talking about the Seahawks.
Yep. The only other things I really want to point out. So yeah, Gino definitely just needs to step up more and just slide. I mean, I don't expect him to go like Lamar, but like 3, 4 yards, like when it's there, like you just need to step up and like do it. Just run like that. I mean, it literally it's what helped you win the game against San Fran. Like, and then like in Arizona, there was a couple times where you could just run, like especially on the pick play, just run and get that first down, and then you have a whole set of downs instead of just trying to fit it in the window. And then he's like, "Oh," and I'm like, "Yeah, because you're an idiot." I'm like, "You literally you had the first yard damage, but you wanted." He feel like he still has this feeling, and I've talked with it about other that he has to put this team on his back, and it's like you have so many things around you now and a better head coach to where it's not always, I mean, yes, quarterback is the most important position, but like you've got to be making smart decisions, especially now that this defense, like the defense helped you this entire time and you had the ability to see like because you were already in field goal range to essentially put them out of point range to where they had no time to come back. They would have to double score. But you messed it up, Gino, because you wanted the point. Like you wanted, it's just like play safe. You can go for the touchdown later on when you have those new sets of downs. If not, then you're still in field goal range to where you can kick it. But you made a dumb decision, and the team almost paid for it. We got very lucky that a couple things went in our way. But because I after that point, I was like, man, they have momentum. I'm like, they could bring this back and they almost I mean not to say they almost did like Kyler Murray getting hurt helped there's the kicker sucking butt helped even though it was in rain but even though it's weird Jason Myers misses a PAT but it can kick a 50 what 4 yard in the rain
52, yeah.
yeah like what the frick I don't know that's always been Jason Myers thing like he misses a couple PATs every year but then he just nails anything from 50 out like he just puts it right down the middle it's just weird. Um, yeah, Abe Lucas being back was really nice. Cody White, I don't know what game it was. I think it was the Rams game. While DK was gone, showed some really nice flashes for being a sixth string receiver. Um, had some nice plays. So I just had to give a shout out to Cody White. Like, I think it was the Rams game.
Yeah.
Um, like he looked good, like contested the ball really well. Oh, another thing, DK Metcalf needs to study Rashad Jennings from the 49ers. He needs to watch tape from him and you just essentially do that because
You
Rashad
mean
Jennings who's
Jawan Jennings?
or Juwan, yeah, Juwan, sorry.
Okay.
Juwan Jennings, yes, from the 49ers. Because Juwan Jennings knows how to use his body to get the ball. DK Metcalf does not. still in his what, fifth season. And you're getting paid like DK, like, and especially like on that contested catch, even though he got the hands down, like DK, you're strong as an ox. You death grip that ball, like versus a guy like Juwan Jennings who's like half your size. I mean, well, Juwan Jennings is a big boy receiver, but like not to the extreme of what DK is. Like you got to hold that ball, like. That's just what's frustrating with me about DK. It's just like, bro, use your body to win matchups. Like it's not hard. Defensively, yeah, like linebacker play has been looking better. Leonard Williams, let's talk about Leonard Williams. Holy crap, that boy had a day against Arizona. He made that O-line just eat crap for lunch. Like that dude looked good. Which was nice to see because like we needed a player to really step up, and I hope hopefully he kind of continues it to be. I don't expect him to go as ape crap every game, but like when you're I think he should be a solid presence to where like not like the Aaron Donald thing, but like to where when teams face us, like teams have to like accompany, like make a plan for him, like type of deal. Um, Also our rookie, Mr. Byron Murphy having some nice plays too. That was really nice to see. Witherspoon on the interception play, just heads up. Like, and Sherm was talking about it on his podcast, the ability to change route, like step pivot and run at the same speed as Kyler Murray when he's already behind to force Kyler to throw that bad of a pick is very impressive. Like, that not many people can do what Witherspoon did on that play. So heads up and shout out to Witherspoon for just being a beast. He also had that tip thing too, that the tip to, I think, was that Witherspoon or was that Reek? Can't remember. To the big boy who caught it for the interception. Um,
I don't remember.
I want to say it was Spoon
I
that
don't
I
that
remember.
was
that put his hand in
I would
front of
have
it.
bet I would put money on Reek, I think. Because
Maybe it was Reek, but
more people would have freaked out about Spoon's day if he did that as well.
yeah. But I think wasn't that against was that the 49ers or was that Cardinals where the big boy caught it?
49ers? Oh yeah, it was the 49ers.
I think it was the 49ers, yeah.
It was the
Yeah.
49ers, yeah.
Yeah. I'll have to look back and see. God, that's sad that my memory can't go back 2 weeks. We're getting old. Um, but I mean, both Reek and Spoon have been playing really well. Cody Bryant playing very like our secondary looks good, which is kind of what we expected. We saw that was where our most depth was like essentially secondary. And while they're healthy right now, like now that we also got Jenkins back, even though Cody Bryant was playing fine as the main, but Jordan Love playing really well. It's been very nice to see this unit kind of click. And linebacker play getting better, to where I think it really helps the front four who have been struggling a little bit more to get more time. I still say that we do need a little bit more because there were some times where, like, even in the Arizona game, where like they're just getting no pressure, especially in the first half. I was like, what the heck? But then Leonard Williams just kind of found a way, and I was like, okay, this is nice. Um, but holding, especially now going forward, the division games are what's going to be most important because of this, everybody kind of being on the same path at this moment. So winning those two is really nice, and we need to really take care of business against Arizona in 2 weeks, because that's going to be essentially the most important with everybody. So clutch. So all in all, if I had to grade the last 3 weeks, I'd say it's a B, leaning between like a B and B plus, like an 87%, just because
Yeah, I was gonna say B plus. Anytime you beat the 49ers, it's
yeah, but
A.
there was still a lot of foot. We still have the, and we do it every game where we're just like, we're doing well. Hold on. Let me shoot
But
my
I think a lot of that comes from like you're just missing a little bit of talent though in general. Like
true.
if you have a little bit of that talent to be made up for eventually, you like a lot of teams either make mistakes or they're able to overcome their mistakes. And we're just really thin or don't have a lot of talent in some places, so the mistakes are amplified, and
Yeah.
so they show up a little bit more. And so
Well, I mean, we do. I mean, we're seeing talent like JSN's kind of coming into his own right now, which is
we
really
always
nice
knew
to
Jason
see.
was talented. I'm just talking about the other like
Right.
we
The
just
other
have no
positions. Yeah.
O line, and it's just like
Yeah.
it's causing Gino to have to play hero ball all the time, which he has to because we're a
Yeah.
mess. The
Oh,
defensive line was a mess.
that was the other thing I was going to discuss too.
Yeah,
What's our Grubb? Is his name? OC?
yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. Ryan Grubb. Come in closer. Zoom in. Okay. Moron. You do not have to run the ball. When you're running the ball and it's not working, stop doing it. Just stop. You
Kevin, I
don't
put
have
it
to
on
do it.
speaker view for this, just so you know.
Yeah. Don't do it. Like you literally did it last game and then like we lost. There was one where like we could have had it. I think it was the 49er game and you just decided to run the ball, like run. And then like we got nowhere from it. And I was like, yeah, we've known this. Like we have no run game. Or in the goal line situations where we wasted two of the first where like, let's just pound it in. I'm like, no, I'm like, they haven't been blocking before. What makes you think that they're gonna block in the red zone? Like they're like, oh guys, we're on the one. Let's block a little bit better now. You guys ready? Cross, you ready? Abe, you ready? Let's block a little bit better because we're on the red zone now. Let's do it. No, it's the same blocking. Stop it. Stop with these little power rushes like to try to punch it in. Like just do little unique things like the screen that where JSN went ape crap for like what was it, 60 something odd yards? That's what you need to be doing. Like little trinkets of like small little screen bubbles, like things like that, or spread it out. Like you have power sets where you're bringing in tight ends. It does not work. You've seen it not work and you're just wasting downs. Stop it. If you're going to do a run, it has to be, you have to spread the defense thin with the receivers out wide and try to punch it in there, but give it to Ken in space versus the whole power run thing. Because Ken is better in space than just trying to put it up through the B gap. You freaking idiot. Like, just knock it off. It's not worked. We until we get better on the interior, which Olu for his first game was very impressive. First half of the Arizona game, not so much. Second half got better. So the jury's still out. Olu will have to see. It just who's the new center for people who we just call him Olu. It's Olu Watiki or something like that. We just call him Olu for short. Um, Still the jury's out on that. We don't know. For a rookie to have what he did against 49ers and against that D line, props to him. But when you have no interior essentially, and Abe Lucas is still kind of hurt, which we saw that he didn't play all of the game. Jarrell came in for him on a lot of the series during the 49er game, which you can tell they're just kind of babying, like titrating him back. Like, stop doing these power rushes through the B gap. Like, stop. Just put him in space and spread things out to where if it's there, do play action to where if Gino sees it, then you can go. If not, throw the ball down the field. Let's do things that make sense. Okay. So I don't have to scream at my TV every time that we freaking power rush it for two when we're on the two and then we go nowhere for it. And I'm like, yeah, because we can't block. We weren't blocking before. What makes you think we're gonna block now? Like, sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah, the Rams game, that was not the Rams. That was just the Seahawks shooting themselves in the foot. The Rams were not good,
We
and
we,
they
we
frankly didn't
were
deserve to win the game,
in
but
way
they
better
won the game.
position. Yeah. Now the
We were
Cooper
up
Cup's
13-3
back.
at half, and then
That's
we let them
that's
back into the game, and then even though we let them back into the game, we tied the game, and then we get the ball first in overtime, and we're driving, and it's 3rd and 1, power run doesn't happen, and then they ran basically the exact same play, and it didn't happen again. So that game was just frustrating because we could have put it away. We could have put it away so easily and just kind of let the Rams hang around, let them hang around, let Stafford find ways to get him to come back. And then they beat us in the end with Stafford's pass into the end zone. So that, you know,
that was a beautiful
credit to
pass.
the Rams
Yeah.
for sticking in there, but that
Yeah.
was all Seahawks. That was not the Rams at all. That loss hurt because we were playing poorly there at the second half, and it was like, oh, we might actually still win this game though for how poorly we're playing. Because when Gino threw that pick six, it's just like, dear Lord, man, this is it. Because for what Gino can do, there are some throws as Kevin has mentioned, and Sean has mentioned, like just can't make those throws. Like that pick six was an absolute dagger. That just completely gave the Rams some momentum that just wasn't able to stop by the Seahawks because they had to claw their way back in, finally did, and then they just shot themselves in the foot in overtime by just Like I just don't like I'm with Kevin on this. Like I don't like their power run game. Like when I can tell you're going to run the ball, Sean McVay can tell you're going to run the ball, and I'm not going to try and stop a play action. I know you're running the ball, so that's a frustrating thing as well. Like I think a play action on either of those plays, you pick up the first down, game's over. The Rams lose. So
Well,
that is frustrating. Now I did like the emergence of JSN. That was great to see. So JSN had his breakout game there with 2 touchdowns and like 170 yards. So that was good to see. 49ers game. That was a good battle. I was wrong in my prediction on our previous podcast where I thought that the Rams game was going to be a precursor to the end of the season. Now, of course, the season is still yet to be determined, but at the moment, I thought that the loss there would basically kind of let them just stumble down the stretch here, and so far that has not been the case. I'm very happy to be wrong in that aspect, but when the 49ers kind of let them stick around 17-13, we got the ball back. I was pretty nervous there on that final drive. So as they got closer and closer, I was getting more and more confident, but just couldn't quite like, make myself believe it. But then that Geno run was, first of all, as Kevin has said, you need to be doing that more, Geno, because teams are not really expecting it. So the fact that you have those wheels, like take advantage
um,
of it. Like they're giving you space. Like I know a lot of quarterbacks don't run, but
Mark
a
Sanchez
lot,
pointed it out too.
yeah.
Sorry
I
to
mean,
interrupt, but during the Arizona game, like Buda Baker came around the side, and literally Buda Baker gave no respect to Geno because he knew the ball was going to the running back. Like, and Geno's free on that whole play. Like Geno's going for 5, 6 yards at minimum. I'm like, Geno, just keep the freaking ball every now and then. I'm like, holy crap! I don't know if it's him or if Grubb's telling him like hand that ball off, but like it's play action, so it's your decision in the end. Like you're the quarterback, you can do it. Like just take a ball and go. Sorry, go ahead.
I think a quarterback's first instinct is also to throw, so that's probably part of it. He does want to make a throw, which I do understand, but when there
Yeah.
is open space in front of you, please, for the love of Jesus, just take it. Like,
Yeah.
take the 6 yards, take the 7 yards, slide down, don't get hit, and just play the next down. Like, I do understand that Gino can make some throws and extend some plays, but I prefer to take the yards that the defense is giving because they're going to drop back and cover two and give you 6 yards underneath. Then take it. Like that's just easy money there. And then when in the 49er game when he took it and got all the way to the end zone, like I'm screaming my head off here in the apartment.
Yeah.
That was awesome. So kudos to the Seahawks for sticking in that game and winning that game in the end. And then the Cardinals game, I watched the first half at a friend's, and it was I mean, I was in Mount Lake Terrace and I drove past the stadium on my way home. And it was, kind of wet. So obviously a wet game is going to be a little bit more difficult to do some of the things you want to do offensively. But the change at defense over the bye week where they waived Tyrell Dodson and now Tyrese Knight and Ernest Jones are there, it seems to have worked so far. So the fact that they held the best quarterback in the division to 6 points is great. So that defense stepped up pretty good. Now the offense did enough to win the game. Um, the offense seems to have kind of regressed a bit over the season. Like their peak, I think, was the Lions game. That game they had great offense, didn't win the game, but you showed the potential of what this offense can do. And so it would be great to have both sides of the ball play well at the same time because I I can't really well, maybe the Falcons game was the most complete game for this team. Offense played well, defense also played well, but outside of that, I don't really see a game where both sides of the ball played well. So if they can have those things line up, as I said previously on a previous podcast, this team can't beat anybody. Now, of course, this team can lose to anybody because they lost to Daniel Jones, who no longer has a job. So there's the highs and the lows in this as well. So this team can be as bad as losing to Daniel Jones, but can also be as good as, scoring 34 points, beating the Falcons and beating the 49ers. So like this team has potential. There just needs to be a lot more consistency and execution. And also I do agree with Kevin. I am a proponent of running the football, but you have to take what the defense gives you at some point because they are halting Kenneth Walker, and I realize you got to get him some touches, but make it more creative and use him as a pass catcher because he can catch the ball. He can get out in space. If you want to leak him out to the side and have him catch a ball as a handoff or whatever you want to do, like please do that. And as Kevin mentioned as well, I really love the middle screen game. The middle screen game has been working for them whenever they've really called the play. I mean, JSN just kind of slips into that little centerpiece, and the linemen go up, and they just dump it over the top, and JSN always has a lane. I think it's worked the last 3 games they've ran it. So obviously, I think teams are going to be more suspect to it as they go further into the season. But if it's working right now. So stick with what you got, but also the run game. It appears that this offensive line is not going to get the push that you want to run the ball the way you want to. So you've got to find other ways to get players the ball. And if it's as simple as like I would like to see Tyler Lockett get the ball more. I think it's a little frustrating that you have him and you're not utilizing him as much as you have been. Now that has led to the emergence of JSN, which I do appreciate, but they have 3 good wide receivers, and I would like to see all 3 of them get some piece of the pie. And it feels like Tyler has not gotten as much as he usually does now. He's getting older, and generally when he catches, he falls down because he's not going to want to take the hit. And I understand that, but he still has talent. He is still getting open, and I would like to see them utilize him more. I I don't want Farrell Brown out there anymore. Farrell Brown has had penalties. He is not a great pass catcher. AJ Barner is better than him.
I mean, he did
So
truck that one guy. That
that's
was
true.
impressive to
That's
see.
true. That's true. But there have been a lot more Farrell Brown oopsies
Right.
than
Yeah, I know.
I'm impressed. So I hope Noah Fant comes back soon because I think that will push Farrell Brown off the field. So I would like to see AJ Barner and Noah Fant on the field if you're going to have 2 tight end sets, and then try and utilize your Tyler more because I think there's going to be as more teams start to pay more attention to JSN, and then of course they're going to pay attention to DK. You're going to have Tyler Lockett available in space and just sitting down in the zone for 6, 7 yards, or if he goes over the cover 2 linebackers and he's over the right side and you get 12 yards, like take that take that. So 6-5, leading the division, really can't be too upset about that. So let's talk about the
I'll add something here.
yeah.
So I'll say a couple things. Like we already kind of touched on it. Like oh, we lost to Daniel Jones and the Giants. And again, I'll say it again. Like every team has a hiccup. We had a hiccup, but everybody else we've lost to, the Lions, 49ers, Bills, like they're you know at the time the 49ers and all those guys were Super Bowl contenders. Like it's like we were losing to the best teams in the NFL. Like it's not like we're losing to like we lost to the Falcons as well, or the Dolphins. Without We had a hiccup, and every team has a hiccup. I mean, there's no undefeated teams anymore. We're 10 weeks in the season, so teams are going to lose, and I get it. It sucks, but like again, it's the one game. If we lose to the Jets and the Bears, both of those teams, then yeah, maybe like that's consistency. But it's just like we lose our one game, and then again, like to your guys' point, you can't run the ball. Like the people that are saying like run the ball, force the ball, everything like that, it's not going to work because again, in the grand scheme of things, they don't matter. So if they were mattering, he would do something about it, and he can't. So because they can't, like when there's
AKA
a guy,
Mark Sanchez. Sorry.
I know, like it's like, oh, Kenneth Walker's great. I'm like, if Kenneth Walker's great, he's gonna miss all these guys. But like they rely on the blockers more than the quarterback does. So running backs will not do anything if there's guys in the backfield. Period. No matter who they are, the greatest running back of all time, never happen. So like, and that's not a disservice to them, but it's just like it's not going to work. So stop doing it. Like, yes, you're gonna have to run the ball a couple times a game. I'm not saying like go up there and throw it all 60 times. But like people are like, we gotta get these guys touches. No, you don't. Because like to Matthew's point, like when they know you're gonna run it on the goal line, there's like 5 guys in the backfield as soon as they snap it. It is so bad when we try to run the ball on the goal line. Just stop. Like, just stop. Like, we did it last week, and it was like as soon as they snapped it, Zach Sherman gets hit by like 2 dudes. And I'm like, whoa, like, I'm just like, guys, like, what even? And then we score on a pass. I'm like, just stop trying this. You can't on 3rd and 1, 4th and 1. It's go for it because that's the NFL, but you can't line up and run it. Or if you're going to do that, you have to QB sneak it. You know what I mean? Like Geno Smith is 6'5". Hop over, do the push, do your thing, reach over, do the Drew Brees, reach over, get your first down. But anything other than that, you can't do it with this O line. You cannot get your 1 yard run on when they know you're going to run it. We're like 0 for 10 at this point in the season. Like, what are we doing at this point?
What I think you probably should learn to do, especially if you're going to do that, like let's say you're first and goal, okay, and you're on like the 3. I think you spread it out with 4s and you have Ken in the backfield with a play action. but you have people just do curls, dig routes to essentially, and you throw, and if you
But
don't complete it, then on the next one, because they think you just line up with the same thing, and you can play action to Kenneth to see if it's there. But like that's the only chance like this team is gonna have is like if they spread it out wide and then you run the ball with play action. But even then, like our O line just can't
I
block.
think you
Well,
need a Josh Allen type play where you spread everything out and you snap it and you see what they do and then you just run forward.
Yeah,
Like, because you spread everybody out on the goal line and then you're just like, Gino, you're
run.
6'5", run over like one guy, or fall over, use your momentum to fall over the linebacker, basically. Because like
Hmm.
you lining up and us getting a goal line with all these tight ends, we're just not good enough interiorly to like get any sort of push. And it's just
Hmm.
not working. And it's not worked for over and over and over. And it's never gonna go anywhere. And like I really actually did like this last game where it was like 3rd and 6 or something like that, and they ran a draw to Charbonnet because that all that means is they're willing to go for it on 4th down. You don't call a run play that in that situation unless you're going to go for it on 4th down. And they're like, look, but we're going to just take the extra down and we're going to be like, let's try to sneak it. And they did. And Zach Charbonnet got like 8, 9 yards and he got the 1st down. And I'm like, you got to get more funky with your runs because if they have even the slightest idea that you're going to run it, it's just not going to work. Like
Yeah.
it's just the way our team is structured.
and I agree with everything you said, Sean. I think that this offensive line can improve to where the run game can be viable. We just haven't seen it to be able to
But
go to it.
I
So
guess my
I
point is
agree
like
with
don't
that.
go in like force like let's assume
Yeah,
they're gonna get better. Like no,
yeah.
you have to see this, and I think they have, but it's smaller steps. I go, but like don't be like okay now we're a run team. Like that's definitely not gonna happen at this point this
Yeah.
year, and it can get there. But like in a couple of years once you start filling out pieces, but like right now
Yeah.
you
It
have
comes
to be
back.
a pass first team. Stop
Yep.
everybody online being like we need to run it more, run it more. I'm like it's just not in the cards, guys. Are you watching the same game I'm watching? It's just not going to work. Like
I'm not saying run it more, and I
I'm
think
not
we're
saying you
all
are. I'm saying the internet
yeah, yeah.
is
Well,
like
yeah, yeah. Well,
just like
what I think they need
stop.
to
Like
do
And Mark
more
Sanchez.
creative things than
yeah,
line up single back. Obviously, I'm running the football. Like
me
that
and
just
Kevin,
hasn't worked.
Kevin was over, and I sit there and scream from their kitchen. I was like, just run a screen. And like 2 plays later, they run a screen to Kenneth Walker, and he gets like 15 yards. I'm like, just do that because Kenneth
Yeah.
Walker in the open field is great, but you have to find a way to get him that in a way where like because like that JSN like little screen, but just run with Kenneth Walker too. Like just get him some space because in the backfield, I get why he does it, but he tries to cut everything, and it drives me crazy. Just take what they're going to give you, and I know they're not giving you a lot. Kenneth Walker and occasionally do bust that one on the outside, but like it's such a negative when you cut it outside and you lose the 1 yard. And now we're 2nd 11. And that's when, like to Kevin's point, Gino then has to play hero ball because you don't have a great O line, and now it's 2nd and 11. And now you're gonna have to pass it, and the defense offense knows you're gonna throw the ball because at least in a lot of these neutral situations, there's the idea of running it, which at least the idea of running it gives them like a half-second pause. But like without it, if the like to Matthew's point, if the team knows either you're going to for sure run it or for sure pass it, this team's O line is not good enough to do one or the other for sure. And you need to give them that semblance of like they could do the other one. So maybe some like 3rd and long draws to be like, hey, you guys are just all in on this pass rush or 3rd and long screens because like you've got to get your on back on your heels more and be like more willing to go for it on 4th down after you just don't get it on 3rd down with the run because you have to get this team to like question the other teams to question more of what you're going to do because you're so one dimensional either or with how bad your O line is at both.
Yeah, and I think, I think the O line, you don't want to completely abandon the run because then you're one dimensional and it's much easier for the defense. But at the same time, if I'm an offensive lineman, I don't want to drop back in pass coverage. Now that appears to be what you're better at right now, but
Yeah.
offensive linemen do want to get up there, do want to hit some guys, do want to set the edge, do want
They
to
can't do
really
it.
get that run game.
They
But
just
if you
can't do
can't
it.
do it, as you guys have said,
Yeah.
then limit those opportunities or find
It's
more ways to get the ball into
it's
space.
it's easier.
You could get Walker's touches without turning and handing the
Yeah,
ball.
you can. It's easier. That's why the whole running backs don't matter, quarterbacks thing. It's easier to have a functional offense throwing it 50 times than it is running it 50 times. Like offenses with battle lines could still function throwing the football, but they can't function if you're a run first team and you can't run the football. Like it just doesn't work the other way.
Right.
So but you just cannot be a run team if you can't run block. It just doesn't will not work. You'll lose every game. You could still be a pass first team with bad pass blocking. Happens all the time. Obviously, you want to be better, but like Joe Burrow had a bad passing O line his entire career. And they've been to a Super Bowl. Like, but there's never been like a bad O line at blocking, and they've been a run first team's ever done anything. So like that's why it's just more of like you can make up for bad if you're going to be bad
Well,
at both, you can make up for it in passing.
technically that's kind of Carolina right now, but
What?
like they're a run team with a bad O line.
Yeah, that's Carolina.
Panthers.
And, well,
Yeah,
they're just bad at everything. But like,
that's true. Yeah,
yeah. But actually, Bryce Young actually had a really good game last week,
he did.
and took
He
it to
did, yeah.
took it to the good defense of the Chiefs. But so, and again, that's what I'm saying. Any given Sunday, they almost lost to the Chiefs. Almost lost to the Panthers. So we
Yeah.
lost to the Giants, but
The
the
Chiefs
Chiefs
have almost
lost
lost to
the
everybody.
Yeah.
It
so
feels like,
I'm
but
just saying, like, uh, but it's
all right.
just like,
Yeah, we gotta
yeah,
We're running
predictions.
out of time here, so let's make some predictions here. So Seahawks at Jets this Sunday at 10 a.m. on Fox. Looking at the betting line here, according to DraftKings Sportsbook, the Seahawks are -2. Over under is 41.5. This is in MetLife Stadium, so New Jersey technically. So this isn't even a New York game, but this is an interesting game. There's been a lot of rumors about Aaron Rodgers, but I think he's playing. Um, the team has been in a downward spiral. That being said, I think coming off the bye, they're going to be a little bit more refreshed and play better. Um,
I mean, you can't play much
I,
worse,
huh?
so I guess you can't play much worse. I
Yeah, I
guess.
guess that's true.
So,
Um, I do think it's going to be close. I think they're going to try and really like win this one to save their season, even though it's really not savable. But um, I am going to take and I think the Jets defense has fallen off a bit. I still don't think they're bad, but they haven't been good this season. So I think I'm going to take a tight game. I'm going to take the under, and I think I'm going to go. I mean, it's going to be the same as 49ers score, but I'm going to take 20-17 Seahawks. Kevin, what do you think?
Yeah, coming off a bye, every team's kind of a little bit more fresh and they play a little bit better, usually. Um, the main key is going to be, yeah, what Aaron Rodgers can do if we can put pressure on him, and then also stopping Bryce Hall. Their defense is also solid, even though, like I said, they haven't been playing nearly to the degree that they can, but they can play to a degree if they want to. They have a lot of talent on that defense, which I think is going to cause Gino to struggle a little bit. And Gino's going to have to make very smart decisions and not shoot himself in the foot like he likes to do. I think it will also be very close. I'm going to say it's going to be 24-20.
Sean?
I'll start off with saying 21-13 Seahawks. Um,
Mhm.
I think the Jets are toast. Not just like in this game. I'm just saying like in general they could win this game, but like they're just like it's over. Everything's done. Most of the time, just health wise, yeah, the bye week helps, but I just think this everything in the building is so toxic and everything just sucks. Like for the Jets,
Aaron Rodgers
like
effect.
Uh,
just more time to
I,
think.
I think
Probably,
if Aaron Rodgers really wants to play next year, he's going to try and come out with a fire these last few games,
but
especially this
like
one. So,
there's just like their O line's not good, and yeah, they have Garrett Wilson and they have
Devontae.
Devontae. That's our strength. We have guys who could stop pass catchers. So like and Aaron Rodgers isn't mobile, all that stuff. If Big Cat has even half the game he has, it's over for them. Like that's the thing. Like if we get any D line interior pressure, it's over because Aaron Rodgers is not mobile. Bryce Young is just or
Brees Hall.
Brees Hall is just not like they're not going to take over the game. Like unless we forget a tackle, which knock on wood, it might happen. We're 2 weeks of good tackling under our
Yeah.
belt, so let's calm down there. But unless we give it to Hall, it'll be on us. I just don't think like a team with this much time is this dysfunctional just for their GM after already firing their coach. Their quarterback, everybody hates each other. I think this might actually hurt them more. All this time off to not think about football might actually hinder this team. So, like, and Aaron Rodgers never shuts up in the media. I just think like the players are probably done with it. He's been talking more because he's been not playing this week. I just think like, yeah, it's just a mess. That's why I say they're gonna get 13, and I think three of the points are gonna be off of a stupid turnover, maybe from Gino. They're gonna get three give me points from the Seahawks, but they're gonna really put up maybe 10 points on their own, and the Seahawks will get 21 because I just think enough will be done. We have enough talent to just basically put up 20 a game, 21 a game for sure. No help from another team, nothing else. Best defense, we could still put up 20 points because again, we have the weapons. We have like talent everywhere except for that O line. And so it's just like the talent will override. Geno Smith will play well enough to put up 20. I just think that the Jets, it's going to be like they're just going to keep like just being the Jets this year and implode. And so it's going to be 13 to 21.
Quick prediction, December 8th, 1:05 p.m. at Arizona on CBS. I do think the Cardinals will bounce back from this previous game and win this one. I'm going to take the Cardinals in Arizona in a controlled environment, 27 to 23. Sean?
I think the Seahawks take this one. I think they are better. I think the Cardinals lack of talent, like the Seahawks, but the Seahawks, I would say, have a little bit better talent than the Cardinals do overall. Their defense is a little bit better than the Cardinals. The Cardinals are making the right moves. I think Gannon, good defensive coach, and has done a lot with what he has. He just doesn't have a lot over there yet. He has shown a lot of things. He did some nice things to frustrate our offense a little bit. So I think he's a decent coach. Just there's no talent. So I think I still think we take that one. Uh, Score. I don't want to say close. It'll be kind of be close to the Jets score because I just don't think either team offensively will be able to do much. Um, I'll say 17-21 Seahawks. Seahawks are just going to put up 21 points a week forever.
Kevin, we're
Okay.
close out of time. Quick.
24-10 Hawks. Gino plays better inside.
All right. Well, that is it for watching East West Sports. Thank you for watching. Subscribe to us on YouTube, follow us on Twitter, and bring back our Sonics. We'll see you next
Screw
time.
the Dodgers.
Screw
Screw
the
the Dodgers.
Dodgers. We'll see you next time on watching East to West Sports.